In New York City public schools, 48% of Black students and 38% of Latinx students have to pass through a scanner, in comparison to 14% of white and 14% of Asian students. There's a clear disparity. The placement of these machines in schools are racially disproportionate. Why does this disparity exist? What is its true cause? I've asked these questions multiple times before, and I'll continue to ask them until you, the panel on educational policy, address them. And to prove that these aren't just statistics, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I do. I'm an organizer at the Yaya Network, where I have spent a lot of my time interviewing students, educators, and even parents that have been impacted by this issue throughout New York City. I have sat in front of many, many people who describe how scared they feel, or how criminalized they feel, or the environment it creates for them. It creates a hostile environment, and they don't feel necessarily good about going to school, which isn't good, because I feel like everybody should feel good about going to school. It's where we are most of our day. It not only affects their emotions or their want to go to school, but it also affects, their learning experience. It creates like a really bad and negative environment, and it creates a really bad relationship between not only the students, but the SSAs and the students. We want personnel at schools to feel less like authoritarian, and more familiar, I hear too often how ineffective this method is. Weapons are still getting through. It doesn't help at all, honestly. And we want alternatives. We want to suggest alternatives, more counselors, to help the students, not to police them, They're growing up in these conditions, and it's not okay. I sit in front of people and they tell me how traumatized they are because of the metal detectors in their schools. We don't want to traumatize our kids, do we? We want them to feel safe. So, what does happen when we take away these metal detectors and install restorative programs that give its students a chance to flourish, to contribute positively to the community? Students have expressed to me and my peers numerous times that chances are that they'll feel safer, more peace, less stress at school. It's important that we give all students the opportunity to a productive learning environment. All in all, I'm here today with my peers to bring light to this issue and ask for change. Through working collaboratively, we could efficiently demand the release of the criteria for the placement of metal detectors. Furthermore, we demand a revision of the ambiguous policy A-432 that leaves room for much misconduct from school officials and agents. Before I go, I'd like to reiterate that my peers and I are fighting every day to make schools safe, something that the government has failed to do time and time again. We are sick of not being heard, and we insist that you listen to us and our experiences and partake in this dialogue and very necessary change. Help us pressure the NYPD to release the criteria and revise Chancellors Regulation A-432. And before I go, I also want to mention that I come from a charter school. I go to the Renaissance Charter School. And in this school, we have counselors. We have support, we have peer mediation, I feel safe when I go to school. But the numerous students that go to public school and that go through these metal detectors, they don't feel safe. And I want my experience to reach beyond me and to reach every student in the city. It's not fair that I get to feel safe when I go to school and other students don't. Thank you.
Yes,